we've been putting an end to a lot of long stories the past couple podcasts. We ended a particularly interesting and long one last podcast. And Batman v Superman is out. No, Batman verse. Fuck off. Batman vs. Superman is out, and early reviews are in. Now, I'd like to point out that this is a story we've been covering since the very first fucking podcast. 68 episodes ago.
2.5 years ago.
Nearly 3, yeah. 2.5, nearly 3 years ago. And I have not seen the movie. I will not see the movie. And if the current reviews rolling in continue the way they are, I'm not even going to bother with this on Netflix. I'm just going to pretend it never fucking happened. Because it's not worth 2.5 hours of my time.
Well, 3.5 once you account all the trailers and the time when you get to the theater.
Well, I'm talking about at home.
Oh.
So, I want to start with this first. A lot of people jumped to rub in my face.
And mine a little bit.
And Pat's. That the pre-release buzz from the premieres and the pre-release screenings
on Sunday
was hot with multiple T's. Yes. And I'm not... Look, as much of a fanboy as I am, going for various movies, if you go off pre-release, like stuff like that, it's basically confirmation bias. Okay? The people who go to those are people who want to see the movie anyways. They want it to be good, and they're going to find the good things to say about it. They also don't want to piss off the people who perhaps invited them.
The premiere people are people involved with the making of the movie, the stars, the friends of the stars, the family of the people that made the movie. Yeah, that's a biased group.
So I'm going to be honest here. If pre-release buzz for a Tron 3 came out and it was positive, I'd be excited, right? Okay? I mean, I understand this failing. But you have to take these things with a grain of salt. When certain pre-release buzz reviews for a movie state something as outlandish as, so if this is a race between DC and Marvel, DC just caught up with one movie. That's literally something I read.
Wow.
Like, how do you...
First of all, how do you quantify that?
I don't know. I mean, there's been 2 movies in this universe. And
versus the 20 in the Marvel universe, you know.
So, I mean,
15.
I'm not trying to get stupid, but all I'm saying is you cannot judge a movie based on pre-release buzz. You just can't. Sure, if you're a fan and you're really looking forward to it, and someone's like, hey, it was good, fine. Understandably, you're going to be excited, but you're not going to convince me or anyone else who's skeptical about it with pre-release buzz.
I'm going to say this to all the people that say don't go by the critics, watch the movie yourself.
Well, you just went by the critics.
Well, they went by the worst. They went by non-professionals.
Yes.
That have a biased interest in liking the movie. But critics, by and large, when it comes to genre films, are pretty good. When you talk about superhero movies, there's been probably 30 to 40 superhero movies released in, the past 15 years?
Yes.
Some that include all the X-Men ones, all the one-offs, like the DC one about the cowboy.
Sure.
And even stuff like Cowboys and Aliens is a graphic novel. If you want to count Ninja Turtles.
Kick-Ass 2.
Thank you very much. Wanted or whatever the hell was Angelina Jolie.
Scott Pilgrim was a comic book movie.
You see where I'm going?
Yes.
In those... And of course, like the 15 Marvel Universe movies,
yeah,
and the 5 Spider-Mans and all that stuff. In that sort of swath of 30 to 40 movies, there was ones on the low end, like Catwoman at 9%, and then you have like Captain America: Civil War and Guardians of the Galaxy at 90%. So it's not like the critics are biased against these movies,
right?
They know a good one versus a bad one. They've seen enough of them.
They're not rating this low because it's a superhero movie. So let's get to the... so we're looking at Rotten Tomatoes, right? And as of right now, it is sitting at 35%.
With 51 reviews, which will be probably about almost half of the mainstream reviews that come in. This is not going to get a fresh rating of 60, that's for sure.
No. And here's the thing. So early this morning we started, it was 13. It went to 15. I believe before we started, you said it was actually up at 43. A couple more reviews roll in, negative, bring it right back down to 35. This does not bode well for the future of the Snyderverse or the current... I mean, I know Snyder's not directing all of the movies, but this does not bode well for the direction DC has chosen to take. And we had discussed rumors on a previous podcast about how WB was not excited about what was happening, and how some actual pre-release screenings, probably involving critics or whatever, did not test particularly well, or at least with people who were not inclined to like the movie. And 35% does not give you a good jumping off point for something that's supposed to be as big as Justice League. And while Pat earlier today told me that he's read reviews that said it is not nonstop action, a lot of the people who have told me they liked this movie, or that I've read that liked this movie, have been like, great action start to finish, lots of action, this and that. That is also not a good basis for creating a universe.
No.
I mean, we've said it before, and it bears repeating, because this may be what ends up happening. You needed to establish your Superman. You needed to establish your Batman. Even if I don't like the direction that Snyder is taking, you cannot jump from a solo Superman movie into Justice League. It's so insane to think you can make that cohesive and a believable, fun storyline in that short period of time. So
while also throwing in a Justice League setup with cameos of 3 Justice League members and Doomsday.
You know what that sounds like to me? It sounds like Spider-Man 3.
And a couple, at least one review said, I think they said you have Avengers Age of Ultron and Spider-Man 2, Amazing Spider-Man 2 to thank for this, because there were so many scenes that were just set up for future movies like those two were. Avengers Age of Ultron only got about 70% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I liked the movie, but it was not an excellent movie, Age of Ultron. I did enjoy it, though.
Oh, like I said
but I
earlier,
totally agree with that there were scenes in there just to set up future movies.
No,
Absolutely.
I like both Avengers movies, but they're not particularly high on my Marvel Universe list. So I think what we're going to see potentially is what the rumors stated. Snyder's vision is not working. Snyder's vision is fucking one note.
Well, here's the thing.
And
we're at 35%, which is 18 fresh, 33 rotten. It's not going to get that much higher than that. But more importantly, the average rating is 5.3 out of 10.
Yes.
Even one of the positive reviews that counted towards one of the 18 positive was IGN's review, was a 6.8. That was the positive review. Was not even a 7 out of 10.
Right.
That's not shooting for the moon right there.
No.
So more importantly, when you talk about what the top critics are saying, so far there's people from like the New York Stars, New York Stars, Star Ledger, Time Magazine, Rolling Stone, Newsday. We're talking about New York Post, USA Today, Variety. There's been 15 reviews. Only 4 out of the 11 have been positive of the 15. 4 out of the 11. So if you're banking on critical acclaim, because remember, you can have a movie make a ton of money the first weekend.
Yeah.
Banking on the marketing alone or the star power. But word of mouth is how you get more casual people or repeat business. Winter Soldier shocked everyone by how much money it made, because it did so much more than the original Captain America.
Right.
And that was on word of mouth, saying, holy fuck, and good reviews saying, holy fuck, this isn't just a good superhero movie, this is just an excellent movie in general.
Yeah, I don't want to sound stupid, but that was a movie that elevated the superhero movie genre. It really did.
At least it provided a template for something you do differently, versus just having bad guys beat up supervillains versus superheroes. I'm just going to read a few of the top critics, and I'll read some of the good ones too. I'll just run through a few of them. From Detroit News, this is a negative. The heavyweight title bout between Batman and Superman is a smash to the senses, the same way being tossed around in a rollover car accident would jolt one's system. From New York Star Ledger, Stephen Whitty, plays less like a prequel for the JLA than a greatest hits medley of every superhero movie ever made. A little Dark Knight Rises here, a bit of Batman Begins there, all spiced up with some X-Men topicality. The thing is, none of it convinces. From Time Magazine, as superhero spectacles go, Zack Snyder's Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice is a grand one with a mondo-operatic climax and a final shot infused with quivering, exhilarating molecules of grace. It's also not much fun. Here's a positive one for Rolling Stone. 3 out of 4. 3 out of 4. Snyder, juiced up by Hans Zimmer's caffeinated score, throws everything at the screen until resistance is futile.
That doesn't sound good to me.
That's positive?
Right. That's the problem. What that sounds like, it just sounds like a throwback to Michael Bay style movies where you're assaulted the entire time.
Another negative one. I'm not going to read all of them, but overlong, underdeveloped, and almost entirely humorless, Batman v Superman may please die-hard fans by pitting two DC icons against each other. Everyone else may want to wait for the next Marvel movie. And here's again, this is a positive review. It hurdles not with the kinetic momentum of Mad Max Fury Road, nor the comparatively spry skip of a Marvel movie, but with an operatic grandeur it sometimes earns and often doesn't. That's a positive review.
And, I mean, they also said, I mean, and this is more of my personal beef, they said that the Superman that we saw in Man of Steel is even more sullen and dark in this, so now we're dealing with an even more grimdark Superman, which is just fucking dumb. I would just like to read my favorite snippet. I haven't read the review, because all I needed was the headline. This is from the UK GQ magazine, and this is the headline. Batman v Superman will make you hate Batman, Superman, and the Justice League. Subtitle. This is a film so bad it wears you down and makes you wonder if there was ever such a thing as a hero anyway.
Jesus. And again, we might say we're being gleeful out of reaction here.
I wanted to say this first. I'm not happy.
No, I'm not.
I want to see characters. I want to see characters I like, and I like both these characters. I want to see them in good fucking movies.
I like the Batman character a lot. I don't like the Superman character as much.
He can be done,
but he's the icon. He's the first superhero. You have to respect him. And I love the original Superman with Christopher Reeves. Is one of the best superhero movies, in my opinion. I own it on DVD. I'm not a DC hater. He's not a DC hater. We don't like the direction that they chose to go in their cinematic universe with Zack Snyder at the helm. Sorry.
Yep.
That's what it always comes back to.
I don't have to like everything because I like the characters.
I like the Nolan Batman movies. I like them a lot.
Yeah, I did too. I don't have to like every Mario game. I don't have to like every album that a band puts out. And I don't have to like every fucking superhero movie or every direction that someone wants to take it in. And I think this is confirming it. Like I said before, Snyder has one note. And his note is grim, dismal, dark, and fucking depressing. And it doesn't have to be sunshine and roses, but I'm sorry, a moody, bitchy, pissy Superman is not. That's not a twist. That's remaking the character.
I mean, we never brought this up before, and I don't want to say how much this goes into it, but Zack Snyder's wife, Deborah Snyder, produces all these movies that he directs. I don't know how much influence Deborah Snyder has at Warner Brothers. But
where's this going?
But I'm just saying, if that was an influence, though, to have your husband sort of be the guy behind the entire cinematic universe,
sure.
If that was part of the decision, I'm going to say that's a fucking awful reasoning to do that. Especially after Man of Steel didn't do gangbusters. It did all right, but it didn't do like, holy shit, this is the guy we want to lead the way.
I mean, we don't need to dwell on this too much longer, but didn't we check once and Man of Steel was like 60 to 70?
On Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah, I think it was certified fresh, but all I'm saying is if Man of Steel does better than this,
56%. So that was rotten too.
Well, if this ends up...
But it was 6.2 out of 10, which is so far a little bit higher than...
All I gotta say is if that ends up better than this, then, I mean, there's zero chance I'm going to see that movie.
It all depends on if Warner Bros. They already have a Suicide Squad in the can. That's going to come out, which doesn't look related to this at all, which is good, besides Affleck having a cameo.
Actually, I don't have a lot of interest in it, but, I mean, just comparatively,
I'd rather see that.
It looks like a way better movie.
They're Guardians of the Galaxy or whatever. I'll see that way before this.
Yeah.
And then you have Wonder Woman in the can, which is fine. And then, but supposedly, they're going to start shooting the Justice League movie very soon. So if they're going to halt it and sort of reconsider what the hell they're doing, they better reassess after this weekend and pull the plug and say, let's pump the brakes, do a couple more standalones.
Yeah, they need to get a standalone Batman movie.
Get a Batman one in there,
now.
Get the Wonder Woman out, and hell, throw in a Flash one or whatever.
And like, I like Wonder Woman, but it's crazy. It's fucking crazy to me that Wonder Woman will get a standalone movie before JLA, but Batman will not.
For this universe, yeah.
I mean, at the very least, you would need Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman to get standalone movies. I think those are the three most important characters to get standalone movies before you try to establish an Avengers-type film.
Sure, you could even go the route of, have Wonder Woman come out next year, and then you do their JLA without Batman vs Superman. Do it next year, like 5 months or a few months after. You know what I mean? Like Marvel did that. With Avengers, you had Thor come out like 6 months before, and then you do do a model like that. But the whole point is that if Warner Brothers wants to care about these movies doing the success of Marvel, it can't just be we have all these superheroes. They have to be well written and well directed as well. If that's the case, then you would not have. If Iron Man was crap and Guardians of the Galaxy, but even before Guardians, if Thor. Imagine a Thor movie. I could imagine a Thor movie 15 years ago.
Right.
If they weren't done with all the care, all the patience, you would never have gotten to an Avengers movie. It would have collapsed.
Yes.
And the Captain America movie, that could have went awry as well.
And this is either going to collapse or WB is going to continue to fucking burn money.
Or they'll be happy to make a mediocre profit with mediocre movies. Because people will see a JLA movie, but it won't do as well as the Avengers movie if it's the quality that this looks like.
I'm sure this will make some money. I'm sure whatever they want to put out with the DC name on it will make money. It just doesn't mean they're deluding themselves if they think if with the current direction it's going to live up to the same standards that the Marvel universe does.
And unfortunately, all the casual people will always compare it to the Marvel movies because they've been out now for 8 years, and it may not be fair, but they'll be like, hey. This was whack compared to like Civil War. I showed someone, went to the movies with someone, not a big superhero fan at all, and she watched for the first time on the big screen the Batman v Superman trailer, the one with Doomsday, and she said without coaxing her, she said, "Ooh, that was lame." Without coaxing her,
yeah,
she said that.
So you're gonna get the diehards, but you're not gonna get the trickle-in audience.
Yeah.